All right, what's up, everybody? We should be live here. Yes, we are. Okay, cool. So, and I got it so that it's flipped, which we want. So, welcome to another Project Fresh live stream. Today, doing something a little bit different. Told you I would do a clinic. So, today, I want to teach you how to do pull ups. And we're going to get into it in gear. So, you want to join with me, you want to hit pause if you're not watching live, you want to check this out on a regular basis. One of the things that I said that I like to do as a coach, as a mentor, as someone who has been in this journey prior to other people who come to me for the expertise for what I do, is share with them that I help people become believers. I help make people believers. Not in my ability, not in the content that I teach or the coaching that I do, but that they become believers in themselves. Because a lot of things that connect to fitness, that connect to nutrition, that connect to the different things that can create a health lifestyle and a preventable mindset, if you will, or a preventable way, addressing things that may show up later in life that we may have never imagined, diabetes, heart disease, brain trouble, inflammation like you would never believe, which can translate very much regularly to, or does translate, cancers of all different kinds. Ultimately, the goal here is to give you a sense of what could be in the future. Ultimately, a healthy and well-balanced and enjoyable, best quality lifestyle based on all the things we can control in life, based on the science that we know, based on what we see, based on what's going on right now, cause good lifestyles, quote unquote, or bad lifestyles and outcomes, or the not great quality health, tens and hundreds and even more thousands of dollars of healthcare costs that just totally decimate your finances and your family's finances and your quality of life. So I want to give that perspective very specifically because I want to give some depth to this. What we're doing here on this channel is not simply just how to do pull-ups or push-ups or how to eat well or how to do some of these different things that we do. And now that I'm starting to get my technology capabilities a little bit better put together, I'll be able to bring you into my kitchen. Hopefully, I don't know if I'll have any other environments other than me sitting at the desk usually. But the idea here is to provide you a well-balanced plate, if you will, a well-balanced full portfolio of different things you can do, very simple things that require growth over time. Time is always the main ingredient to what we're doing here. Without time, you will not see the results. So therefore, you have to put in time. And so long as we have time, right now is what the only time that we can tangibly say we have, right? The past is gone, the future is not guaranteed. So what we do with what we have right now is what really counts. So dang, Ryan, that was a lot for some pull-ups. Well, I just want to let you guys know that's what we're swinging for. We're not looking to hit first, second, or third if you're baseball. We're looking for the home run if we're basketball analogy. Excuse me. We're looking to outscore the other team with excellent offensive plays and stellar defense. As a basketball player and kind of more old school, I believe defense still is more important than how many threes you can shoot. That's another story for another day. Whatever the analogy it may be. Pardon me. Excuse me. I always seem to have issues with talking when I get on live here. Whatever it may be, we're looking to effectively provide some context to the best lifestyle possible. Okay, with that being said, in any situation or scenario where we're doing workouts, you never start cold with a workout. At least that is my methodology. In training, you always want to have something where you're able to warm your body up, okay? So in that case, since we are doing pull-ups, we want to warm up all the primary and secondary muscles, the main pullers. In this case, this is a pull movement, so the main muscles that are pulling with the consideration of the muscles that are also assisting in the movement. So your chest is probably an assist muscle, but the lats not probably is. The lats, the muscles between the shoulder blades, the biceps through the shoulder itself. Primarily your muscles that are doing the work are the lats, biceps, the rhomboids, some of the traps, okay, some of the primary muscles. So we're going to work on those. Also, the rotator cuff is involved, so we will have a workout associated with that too. I've got for bands. Before we get into utilizing the bands, what I call a Michael Phelps. So it's crossing one arm over the top. If you've been in any of my classes, you've probably seen me utilize the Michael Phelps move. If you don't know what I'm talking about, why I call it Michael Phelps, just watch some of his highlights and maybe the light will go. Okay. All right, and then we're going to do some big reverse shoulder circles to really warm up the shoulders. I'm going to do my best for angles here and spacing in my limited range. I wanted to incorporate all the space I'll be utilizing for this today. And forward circles to warm up, okay? This is something you can follow along with all the way through from start to finish and reference back to this video as time moves forward. All right, so shoulders are a little bit more warmed up. You could use a loop band for this. Put the hands around the loop band. If you don't have a loop band, you could grab a towel to hold on to create this pressure or the tension between the arms. We're just opening it up and down. Very easy, okay? We'll just do maybe 5 of these and 5. You can do plenty more as needed. Okay, if you don't have a loop band, just imagine that you're trying to squeeze the shoulder blades together. So I'm going to draw 2 circles going outward. So both external rotation from relationship to the center of my body. So that means both of my hands are going to go external. Now, if you don't have a bend, you can squeeze your shoulder blades together in this process. Okay. And that is intended to warm up the muscles that are here in the shoulder blade. So you might be able to see my shoulder blade moving behind my finger as I do that movement, okay? So that's to get those shoulder blades. Also, we're gonna do a few more. So we've got pull aparts in the front. I think these are very good. Cross the shoulder blades and rear part of the shoulder, that rear delt. Really great activation of the lats. An excellent exercise to address that. And then also up over the head, I know I'm slightly out of frame. I will go ahead and grab my mat. I knew I was missing something. Go to one knee here so that you guys can see this fully. I always recommend when you go to the floor utilizing a mat. You will realize it either the way in which I encourage you or the hard way, more eventually banging the joints on the ground will no longer be easy to do nor fun. So we did the pull aparts with the hands at shoulder heights. Now we've got a pull apart with the hand or head pulling down, just another way to activate those lats. Minimum 5 on those. You can do stop bend in the elbow, okay? And you'll get some lat activation. So we are now prepped and primed and ready to pull. One other thing you could do if you like is bicep curls. That will also get the biceps. This band is probably a little too heavy for a warm-up, but a simple band, a light band, this one would actually work perfectly. We already have it set up effectively. Something that gets those biceps activated, which is primarily the flexion or bend of the elbow. Okay, and I'll get that going. Now, Ryan, how do we get a pull-up? First and foremost, what's most important about building your way to a pull-up is doing movements that resemble a pull-up without actually doing the pull-up to start. Okay, now, right now, a lot of us don't have access to gyms. You might be in Florida or Texas where gyms are open and people are going on a regular basis, excellent. There is pull-up assist machines. So I will also address you guys as well, okay? Because I know YouTube is global. Anyone technically could see this in the world as long as you have internet and a device to jump on YouTube. Great, awesome. I want this to be all-encompassing. But for the in-home gym, I want to make sure we cover that too, okay? So first and foremost, the pull motion needs to be described. And I think it's best that I do this in two parts. I'm going to take my base bar here and just move it out of the way for a moment. We'll get back to this here in a second. Just provide some extra space here. The biggest thing about a pull-up is the proper technique of a pull-up and what muscle groups you're utilizing to pull the body up. Okay, so you've got different variations. You've got a chin-up close grip. You've got a chin-up regular grip. You can have it a little bit wider to the shoulders. I wouldn't recommend any wider than that. Right inside the shoulders generally is a good one. You can do a close grip as well, okay? Chin-ups. You can do a parallel grip. You can go generally about shoulder width is typically what most recommend for a parallel grip, and then you have a overhand grip. You can go close, shoulder width, or there is wide grip as well, which really gets into the lats, okay? So we're using different muscle groups depending on our grip. Today I'm just gonna focus on two, the chin up and the regular width pull up. So in the chin up, my shoulders are square, and as I pull up, I'm using biceps, a little bit of the chest, but I'm still activating those lats, this muscle right here. And I pull, you'll even feel this if you just stand up and pull down and really squeeze on your pull as if you were on a bar trying to pull up. You should feel that bicep and that lat primarily pull, okay? So that's the motion. Now, I'm not going to be able to do that if I don't have a bar, correct? So what would I start with? Well, what I started with was resistance bands. And I have a resistance band here. It's the lightest one I have in this particular set with the door anchor fastened or sealed here in the door frame on the top. Now this door opens into the room. Preferably you want a door where it's closing, where if you pull on it, the door, you would pull the door closed into the frame. And that's the direction with which you'd be pulling, because then the door would be against the frame and not the other way around like it is for me. Well, this is the only thing I have here in my filming space, so I have to make do and not pull as hard. All right, so that being said, I've got a couple options. Because this is a chin up, I'm going to opt to do one knee on the floor. And with this position, I'm going to hinge forward. Now, the reason why I went one knee is so that I have this front leg here to provide some pressure. I'm going to hinge to create an angle to give me a little bit more of a ideal alignment. If I was on a bar, I would be pulling up. Well, my anchor point isn't up. It's on this wall here, so I have to change the angle of my body to match. So I'm hinging forward and I'm pulling straight down. And I'm looking for engagement in my lats, engagement in the back, so around the shoulder blade muscles, and I'm pulling down. Since this is light, I'm also giving myself a quick hold just to make sure I feel the right muscles contract before I release. Breathing pattern: inhale on the release, exhale on the pull, and that would give you the first step to a chin up. Now, to progress this, you'll go more volume, so more reps, more sets, and more reps. Heavier bands would also contribute to more volume as well, meaning you're pulling harder to achieve the same movement. And over time, as you do that, you'll start to feel you'll get stronger, okay? You might start off with 20 repetitions, 20, 30 repetitions of a light band. And over time, the body's going to adapt. So you're going to get up to the next band, 20, 30 reps, 3-4 times, 3-4 sets, I should say. Then the next band up. Maybe start back at 15 to 20, work your way back up to 30, move from 2 to 3 to 4 sets. Okay, and eventually your door should hold. Okay, make sure your door stays stable in that because you're using heavier bands. So that means more force you're pulling on the door. There's other items in your space I'm sure you can find to lock your band in place. If you need any support there, just leave us a comment. We'll help you out with that. But ultimately, as you progress on the band, that's going to get you stronger in that pulling motion. And what's going to happen for you is you're going to be more prepared for an actual chin-up. Now, what I'm going to do next that requires a bar is show you a couple of different exercises that you can do on the bar with an assist, say a chair or a box or something along those lines, that will give you the opportunity to build strength to get yourself ready for an actual chin-up. And once I get done sharing with you how that works, the final piece will be to show you the form of a pull-up, because the progression towards a chin-up and a pull-up is generally the same. It's more so that you work on your mechanics, you get a modified version like a band, or even if you wanted to, before you even start with the band on the door, the last two exercises we did, the band pull apart overhead and pulling apart here shoulder height. I know I'm a little uneven. My shoulders have been really tight, so I can even see that in the reflection or in the mirror there. I can see the unevenness of my shoulders, so that's the part of being in the profession, is paying attention to those things. But even those two pull apart moves can be exercises you can use to prepare yourself for a pull up. Okay. Now, if you get up on a pull up bar and you don't have a lot of strength and you might be carrying some excess weight, you might have to take into consideration that either you're going to have to reduce some of the mass that's on the body currently, or wait until you get to a point where your strength is sufficient enough for you to pull your current weight up. Okay, so whichever one or somewhere in between. I'll give you a quick example and story while I set this up. When I first started, the first time like getting after pull-ups, this is in college after high school, so I was probably doing a few pull-ups back in high school, but after, I guess this is my third year in college. Hadn't worked out really seriously in a long time, 2.5 years probably. I could only do probably 1 or 2 pull-ups before I started having to use a chair, and 1 foot on a chair with my hand on the bar, pushing through the chair to help me come up to the top. I literally could only do 2 pull-ups. It was miserable. My friends were doing like 6 or 7 or 8 or however many they were doing. I absolutely felt left behind. So in case you're in that space or place, just know I was there too and totally understand how that feels. And I'm speaking to where you're coming, or I'm speaking to the place you are now, letting you know if you put in the work and time, you will see the results. Okay, so I have this bar here. This is the base bar, and it doubles nicely for a pull-up bar. I use it for my calisthenics work. And what I'm going to show you is a couple different things you can do to work on your chin up, which we will go backwards and also say for the pull up. So I'm keeping it in plain, I think, because that's useful for the view. I can turn it to demonstrate a few more times after I get through explaining. So I've got my grip. My thumbs are pointing out to the sides. I've got a nice overhand. My thumbs do not need to be touching my pointer fingers, but just securely fastened to the bar. The more I have around that bar, this is a thicker bar, so not your typical diameter for a pull-up bar, but it does the trick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my feet closed and use those to help me come up to the top. So I'm doing an assisted chin-up. Now, if you don't have the strength for that, here's the next step. You're going to start up high to a point where your chin is above whatever you're using for a bar, say a chin-up bar or this, and slowly, with the best that you can, lower yourself down, okay? And once you're down, you can release, you can set yourself up again, get in, and slowly lower down. These are called negatives, or the eccentric part of the exercise. And if you focus on doing 1 or 2 or 3 to start, you'll get better at it over time. I know I'm out of the feet here. That's why I was sideways, but I just wanted to show this straight on. So you got your first option, the assist, okay, up and down, okay. And then number 2 is setting myself up where chin is just right above the bar, and then slowly lowering myself down to the bottom, okay? Now, the reason why I show you those 2 options is because you can do it on something like a base bar, which is convenient for in-home, or if you have a pull-up bar at home or at the gym, you can do the same thing, excuse me. Your only difference is gonna be, you're gonna be standing, you're gonna have your hands on the bars, and what you're gonna do is put your foot on a stable chair, apply a box or something that's gonna allow you to pull yourself up and then come back down, or pull yourself up and slowly come back down. So kind of a lot of people will effectively hop their way up and then slowly lower down, clear the chin, obviously. We don't want to split the chin. But those are a couple ways that you can effectively build that strength in those muscle groups we talked about until you get to a point where, hey, I'm strong enough to do, let's say, 8. 8's probably a good number, 6 to 8 repetitions where I've either pulled myself to the top using a foot or some kind of assist. You could also utilize a band around the around your bar. So you fasten a band around the pull-up bar. I'll show you how to do that. You'll take the band around slightly. I've got this loop here, and I'm just gonna thread the other end of the band around until I've got this nice long section coming off the bar. And then what I'll do, I usually tell my clients to put your hand either on the bar or on something secure so that you don't fall, because this has a good enough amount of stretch, but it doesn't come down very far with the pull-up bar overhead. So you want to use one hand to get your foot in the loop, the other hand holding on the best you can. And then with the foot in the loop, now you could utilize this for pull-up or a chin-up in this regard as well, okay? So that would be one way you do it. With this base bar, let's just say you happen to have a base bar at home. This is a relatively newer product. I don't know how long they've been out, but they're based out of Australia. Came across them on our ads, on some ads on Instagram. How I modify on the base is I've taken my band, this big, it's just basically a big circle, right? And so what I did is I put the band, or put the circle in half over the top of the bar. Now I have 2 halves of the band right here. What I do is turn around, I put the band on my seat, and I just slowly lower down. Hands are on bar first, and lower myself to the floor. So now this band is nice and stiff. If I let go, I'm not going to shoot towards the ceiling, right? It's not a thick band. And the thickest band I have wouldn't do that to me anyway, but whatever you need as far as assistance will be your band that you choose. And now I've got this additional resistance so that when I pull myself to the top, my chin up is not as hard as it would be if I had no band, right? Okay, same with the pull up. Pull myself up to the top and back down. And then slowly exit, making sure you're good to go. All right. So that is the basics. Now, as far as a pull up, I said I would talk about mechanics, so I'll do that to finish. A pull up in a regular width. And you're going to have those hands right around shoulder width or a little bit wider than shoulders. Anything wider than that would be a wide grip pull up. Okay. Right around shoulder width, just a tad bit wider. And the pulling motion is specifically going to focus on squeezing the lats together squeezing the shoulder blades together, which means to do so, you're utilizing the muscles that have your shoulders go back. So if you've ever had a parent say, hey, put your shoulders back, you're walking around like this, bad day at school, did something bad, parent whacked you and said, hey, you're like, oh, I feel bad now, whatever it is. And I say, put your shoulders back. You have to do this, walk up nice and straight. You put those shoulders back by squeezing the shoulder blades together. And that's what engages those muscle groups you're going to be utilizing. Now, to activate your lat, you bring your elbow to your side here, just like this, as if you're like elbowing yourself on the side. That's what activates this big that connects up here all the way down to right about here. That's the biggest muscle in the back, the latissimus dorsi, aka the lat muscle. And so we're going to be activating those as well, okay? So a pull-up motion looks like this. So we start with the hands up top, and we're going to squeeze those shoulder blades first, okay? And once you're activated, then you're going to pull down to where you would come with the bar right below the chin, and then release for the next rep. So those elbows stay wide, pulling down, getting that squeeze between the shoulder blades. You'll feel it in the lats as well. And then you release. So if I turn sideways and I grab my mat for my knee, because I did say it's good to be padded, and I grab my bands, I will come back to this starter position. We got one leg forward, one leg back. Hinging forward, keeping that squeeze between the shoulder blades. I'm going to pull wide, get that squeeze through my lats and the other muscles around the shoulder blades, and then release. Exhale on the pull. Inhale on the release. You've got options. You can step back or move the body back for additional resistance through your band. You can increase your band. You can increase your volume via reps and total number of sets. And once you get to a point where you're a heavier band with higher reps, I would strongly suggest that you're on your way to performing a pull-up, okay? You've got the pull motion down, you've got the mechanics. Again, if you're currently in a gym, there typically is in all gyms a pull-up assist machine. So either something that you can step on, okay, or something you can knee down on, put both of your knees on, plug in a weight on the weight stack to offset your total weight, which will allow you to do much less pull-ups. If you have that option, I would definitely do it, because now you can do very light pull-ups, high repetitions, so you can start to practice that pull motion. Does that make sense? So whatever you can do to have lightweight and high repetitions early on will help you get used to the muscle groups you're going to use, and also help you get strong for the actual pull required to pull your own body up. And as you get better at it, as you start to get stronger, you'll get closer to achieving your first chin up or pull up effectively. All right, cool. So this is our first interactive clinic, if you will, for our live stream. We started a little late. I think we're a little bit beyond the 15-minute. Oh yeah, definitely beyond the 15-minute mark, but that's how it goes with these kinds of things. If you guys have any questions, comments, or anything else we can do to help you on this journey of a pull-up or a chin-up, let us know. We'll gladly assist you with it. But otherwise, we hope you have a great week. This is our last stream for this week, so we'll see you next time, and hope you have a great night.